Listen, I know he wants to talk about the Penguins, but I'm going to make him wait for that, just like I am these chili dogs. But it was so nice that he'd come down and spend a little time with me, Michael Garr, and it's just nice to have him here. He's my producer overnights on the weekend, and he's a real big reason why I'm able to do what I do on the weekend. So I thought I'd kind of give him a little love and let the world see the brains behind the outfit. Okay, here we go. Time to talk about the Steelers. Now everybody's complaining about that victory against the Cleveland Browns. You know what? I got to be honest with you. A win's a win, and they were playing in Cleveland. I think DeShone Kizer really had a remarkable debut as a pro quarterback in his first regular season game. So how about just giving him a little respect and the Browns a little respect? I think they're kind of trying to turn things around a little bit there. And, you know, the Steelers, listen, they're always going to have a tough time against Cleveland. It's that turnpike rivalry. I mean, what can I say? Now, I want to talk about them getting this win, and a lot of people are saying, now, Ben Roethlisberger, how much longer is he going to play? The question is, how much longer is he going to play?
Well, I don't know about that. That's kind of up to him. I mean, he brought it up last year about retiring, and quite frankly, I didn't really believe it. I thought he had at least a couple more years left. It depends. I think it kind of depends what they do this year. I think if they win a Super Bowl, I'm sure Roethlisberger's going to be pretty tempted to hang him up. You know, if they lose to the Patriots again, maybe he has that itch to go back for one more year. But he's getting up there. And he's come out and said, you know, I've been, beaten up and everything, and he knows his time is almost done. But as far as the Cleveland game, I thought, I agree with you. A win's a win.
Yeah.
DeShone Kizer looked pretty good for a first-time starter, and I think the Steelers' offense is going to get in its groove. They're going to play better as the season goes on. We all know that.
And Le'Veon Bell will definitely get better.
Right. Bell, Brown, Tomlin came out and said it. The offense wasn't in sync. They never had any flow. So luckily it was Cleveland. If it was New England, they probably wouldn't have gotten away with the win. But, like you said, a good divisional win to open up the season on the road, which is never easy, and I think they're all going to be okay.
Marquise Pouncey also back in the lineup. First regular season game he started in a long time because of an injury. And Jesse James is a guy who quietly has said, okay, you want to bring McDonald in, so be it, but when I get the chance to catch the rock, I'm going to do it. He did it for 2 touchdowns in that game. And Antonio Brown, what can you say? Clutch catches, big catches, didn't get into the end zone. But listen, the guy is money. There's no doubt about it. But how about Anthony Chigwell? Linebacker, in for Bud Dupree, and just lit it up. So I see a lot more good that came out of that game going into this game against Minnesota, which is going to be Sunday at 1 o'clock at Heinz Field. Last night, News Radio 1020 KDK, Westwood One Radio, Sam Bradford, this guy, 346 yards, 3 touchdowns. Vikings defeated New Orleans 29-19. Adrian Peterson against his old team. Didn't do much of anything. Really was very frustrated on the night. Stephon Diggs, 93 yards, 2 scores. Dalvin Cook, 22 carries, 127 yards. So Minnesota is a very good football team, and it'll be a good test this Sunday for the Steelers.
Yeah, it will be a good test. Minnesota's a good team, but keep in mind New Orleans is not a good team. And I think part of the reason Minnesota had so much success was because the Saints just really didn't look good. Minnesota's defense is very good. They've always been known for having a good defense over the last few years. But when I watched Drew Brees last night, it was kind of the same thing as the Steelers. They never had really any offensive flow. So I think the Vikings are going to be tested just like the Steelers are going to be tested. I think it's going to be a good game. I like the Steelers just because they are at home, and they always seem to do very well at home no matter what team they're playing. But it's important to pressure Sam Bradford. The reason he had so much success last night is because there was no pressure. They got a couple big offensive linemen in the offseason, and that seemed to be one of the big keys to their win last night.
All right, now we move on. This man actually took a picture with the Stanley Cup. He loves hockey, so I'm just going to do what I can do, and you light it up. Can they three-peat? Matt Murray, more pressure. Marc-Andre Fleury is gone, so they don't have that guy to go to, and really replacing 375 wins, pretty difficult. Nick Bonino, third-line center, gone. Experienced 75 playoff games. Trevor Daley gone. Back-to-back cups with Letang gone in the playoffs. He really did pretty well. Ron Hainsey, the guy they picked up, was pretty solid in the postseason. He's now with Toronto. Chris Kunitz with Tampa. Good news, Crosby and Malcolm showing no signs of slowing down. Defense should be a whole lot better. Letang coming back, and Brian Dumoulin also a part of the mix. And Jay Ginzel, future, youth, future. That's what I'm saying, folks. It's all about the youth, and I see that in him. So, and you got Mike Sullivan, and you got Lemieux, and you got the front office. So It's all good.
It's all good. They're in a really good position. Obviously, the Metro is going to be very tough. Washington's obviously still going to compete. Columbus is very good. New York will still compete. But the Penguins are right there. Yeah, they lost a number of people, but you could make arguments that none of them were, vital to the team. They were good role players. I would have liked to see them sign Chris Kunitz again for another year just because of the veteran leadership that he has, but you know what? He only scored 2 or 3 goals from February 14th on. So at the end of the day, it's not a big loss. Ron Hainsey, no one had really ever heard of the guy playing in Carolina before the Penguins got him on the trade deadline. He's not the biggest loss. We knew Trevor Daley was going to go somewhere else. You get the important guys. You get Letang back from injury. You sign Justin Schultz, who I think is even better than Letang on the power play. You get, like you said, you sign Brian Dumoulin. You have Ian Cole. The defense is set.
And you got Jim Rutherford too.
Yeah.
He just has the sense to know what to do.
Exactly. He knows what moves he wants and what he doesn't want. As far as the offense goes, to me, as long as you have Sid and Gino, you're going to be fine. And then they didn't get a third-line center, but you have some options. You have Jake Gensel. You can move him down to the third line. You have a couple of young guys, Zach Aston-Reese, who really lit it up in college, put up some great numbers. Obviously, he's not a guarantee, but it'll be interesting to see his potential. And, ultimately, I think they're going to be fine. Matt Murray's fine in goal. You don't need a backup like Fleury to get deep into the playoffs. They lucked out with 2 solid goalies, but teams have done it with 1 good goalie, and I think Matt Murray's the guy. And so overall, I think the Penguins are just fine.
Ladies and gentlemen, now you know where it all comes from. The man behind the glass, the wizard. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Michael Garr. Great job, young man. Now you can eat. So let me slide this down to him and say thank you so much for joining us. Now tomorrow night we'll be at the club at Shadow Lakes. We're going to be talking to Joe Dentisi and Jimmy Senseri about some great Italian stuff that you don't want to miss, and a few other things planned as well. So until then, have yourself a great night, and as always, it's my honor to be with you, and I'm grateful that you take time out to join me here on my Facebook page and also YouTube under your Pratt Pack. Good night.